everyone, Salomon here. I am in Zurich in Switzerland, May 12th, 2025. I'm 40 years old. I have made it to my final destination, the red light district of Switzerland. The place is actually called Red Lips, but it was so ghetto for Switzerland's standards that I was actually kind of afraid of filming there. That's how raunchy it was. And so I went to the next best one. It's called the, what is this called? Oh, Jesus. The one right here, Stocker Strauss. Huh, the fuck? Stocker, no. Jesus. Well, in the meantime, this is loading. Let's see. It's called Club Aphrodisia. Open at 4 p.m. Right now. It's 5:22. So things I've noticed and why I'm not in there at this moment is because everything is safeguarded and padded and locked. So you actually have to call or schedule an appointment with them beforehand, or at least call them. So that's what it looks like. And there's just seems to be maximum level of security. And is the environment generally run down? You have like these higher end business looking people. And you know, the next question is how much does it cost? I've not seen a single customer come in and out. $250, at least $250 Swiss francs. Let's give or take one US, $250, $300 US to be safe, in case, you know, they try to hoodwink you or slip one past the goalie. And this is it, you know. This is just the general environment, you know, why I did or did not plan to come actually go inside. And this is the street. It's very discreet. Everyone's very private, and, you know, the standards are high. I'm pretty sure most people have like wives and stuff, and you know, this and that, social validation. No one still wants to be seen as a creep or a pervert, and everything's boarded up. You know, this is it. You know, this is generally what I fantasize what being an adult is like. Keep in mind, I am actually 40 years old. This is what happens to you when you don't grow up. You know, you try to ascertain short-term gratification. So this is a lot about delayed gratification. And as an adult, if I didn't, you know, go through these steps as a child, you know, you're basically fucked. You know, you have to spend your money on this and that because that came out, or you know, it's the marshmallow test, basically. You can have one marshmallow on the spot, or you got 2 marshmallows, blah, 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 after 4 hours, you know, of doing small little tasks. And then, you know, in terms of instant gratification, most people will just, you know, get the marshmallow. But you're supposed to learn as a human being not to just jump right into temptation. You know, be selective, make smart choices, life decisions, this and that. You know, if my inner demons took over, you know, I could simply be, you know, have unprotected sex, this and that. It just translates into the other problems. Now the doctor has to deal with, you know, just letting it hang and freely, you know, having all these STDs around, basically, and while you're reaching down there all the time, you know. And how did your mental health go down, you know, after receiving the gift of red dots on your trollala? You know, not a very good look, not a very good feel. You know, you may even be scared, gonorrhea, herpes, spooky vaginosis. You know, I'm just trying to acclimate with you. What is it like? You know, you probably have the same dreams going to Amsterdam for the red light district. And no one wants to talk about this, but you know, what's it like this is very, curious. I'm very curious as to what in the actual hell, what sells, why aren't there men just coming in and out? Maybe there's every society has closet perverts and degenerates and horny men and old people just doing their thing, naked beaches and saunas and stuff for old people. That was my question. That's generally my question. Why is it so prevalent in the United States? No one knows me here, so I could just freely, openly talk. And damn. So this is what it's like. You probably wouldn't see, social media. You don't see any, what do you call it, marketing. Just very, very innocent and discreet looking, and it's just like my first impressions. I'm pretty sure all of you have been here before, but my perspective is absolute innocence. I have no fucking idea what the hell this shit is. I don't see anyone in the windows. Just like, yeah, I'm a kid. You may be a kid, or an old, creepy old man. I don't know. That comes with the territory. I expect it. But this is it, your POV camera. There's probably a little kid, and then inside of every man, or child, or boy in particular, that wanted to go to the red light district. In this case, it's Switzerland. Let's just cut it down. And my emotional, mental bandwidth is, I'm incapable of, like a child, I'm incapable of like flying into all these places, travel myself, integrating into culture and language, but mostly language, like English only, Jesus. So this is it. This is it. And why I didn't go into this one is because it's delayed gratification. My brother actually showed me this other one. They don't kick you out. It's actually a spa and a brothel all in one, so you can actually stay there, and the girls are like stay there too without having you being kicked out or forced to buy something. So you could stay there like a spa the whole day, and it's much more awesome than going in, paying $300, nutting for the first minute, and then you have to spend the rest of your time 15 minutes for like $300, and you just have to try to make the most of it with a flaccid penis. That's because you're gonna be nutting, or maybe you're this hardcore porn star guy and you're just so used to it that you can last for the first 10 minutes. I don't know, usually that doesn't work, but yeah, I don't know. Erectile dysfunction, the blue pills, and that's what's going on. I just like the environment, Why isn't the business bumping? Why isn't everyone else here? Maybe everyone's just so used to it. Maybe this is only where old perverts go, and like you get one customer out of 1,000 people. It's just, here I am like a kid in a candy store. That's what happens to you. I don't want it to be happening to people. It's just, those are my demons, and I'm just calling it out. And I'm 40. I have to keep reciting myself that I'm 40, and this is generally what happens to you, or me in my case. I just become really curious, and the perversions of being a young man. They just call it snow bunnies. They use the term snow bunnies. If you're into Caucasian-looking women or Eastern European women, they're referred to as snow bunnies. It's equivalent to a white guy who has yellow fever. I'm not turned on by other Asians, aged women, or trannies, or any of that shit. It's just like seeing my mom or something. It's like I don't really want to do this shit. So that was it. I'll show you this. This is like Wall Street or something. I'm getting, people are dressed up nicely and they got a collar and shirt and they're doing quote unquote business. I blend right in so I can do business. Everything's discreet. I'm pretty sure there's several different like brothels and strip clubs and whorehouses there. You know, I don't recommend any coming here to do your business. You know, it's just very grimy. Perhaps I'll do a video in front of the Red Lips in that area. Keep in mind that it's grimy. You know, you want to build your tolerance level. You want to raise your standards. You know, the outside looks grimy. Probably the inside will look grimy. And, you know, I've been spoiled by this place called The Globe by my brother, in which it's a day spa. It's a whole spa, buffet, and everything you can imagine, you know, to fulfill your perverse fantasies. And because they simply, you know, outlaw and ban it in basically every other country. But as you can see, I'm told that it's Calvinists, you know, the originators, as opposed to Roman Catholics or Christian, you know, Calvinism, you know. How is Switzerland uniquely different than everyone else? Prostitution is legal, you know. So this is it, and everything's very discreet. I'm pretty sure every door is locked until you call or have a special key number or something, you know. And they're very well aware of shady characters and privacy and you know, private codes, and you know, as well as every other city. It's just rich people have to protect themselves and stuff. The haves and the have-nots, you know, there's a great disparity. Not too long from here, there's like a park full of like bums, and then in the center are men and women and children, and it's just like, holy shit, you know. I'm pretty sure some of these buildings cater to the, you know, adult section. So there's businesses and offices, HSBC Bank, which I think it's Citizens Bank now. I guess they didn't get rid of the sign because HSBC has been swallowed up by said Citizens Bank. So it looks like I'm probably going to do another video right outside the Red Lips district, as I didn't see anything. I didn't really see anything here. You know, if you were like, oh, I'm going to spend all this money to go to Switzerland, to go to the strip club, to go to the brothel, it's not here. What you had in mind is the lesser version. It's probably a little bit better than America, but it's I can tell you, you know, I get this grimy feel. You know, you're overpaying. You know, it's not that great. It was never that great. And yeah, there's just this place that's 5 stars. You know, you get to stay in there for the whole day. $100 entrance fee, and you know, you just find a girl, and you know, there you go. $150, 30 minutes. You know, what you're doing here is paying $300 in 15 minutes. I mean, it's like nothing. You can't stay there. You know, they'll kick you out if you don't, you know, cash out, and you know, just keep fronting up more and more money. I mean, you know, you're talking about like 30 minutes is like $400 or something crazy. Just for 30 minutes. I mean, they'll do it at the Globe for 100, 150, you know, and you get to stay there after you nut, or how many other times you want to nut. So, if you are a park pervert, then you know you would be enjoying many other amenities aside from the whorehouse. I mean, look at all the other things you can partake in without being a complete degenerate, without having your mother worry about you, or, you know, your wife keeping tabs on you, which I know is common. You know, it's very common for men to have this kind of thinking, nut and go. You know, you got a nut, you got a nut. What am I gonna tell you? You know, shit. The architecture's great, and you'll see there, it's just like a man suffering. Like, he's very stoic in. Oh, two men. You know, he definitely knows what pain is, and you know, and what it's like to live a life. It's just emotional damage. You know, I always wanted this video. You know, this is what I want to spend my time with. You know, with the youth I have, with what I have going for me, what I have, you know, under my belt. This is how I imagine my life. I feel rich. I feel enriched culturally, monetarily. Let's just like, I am fulfilled. You know, this is my dream. It's not my tiger mom's, you know, strict Asian, you know, a documentary about me and, you know, what she wants. It's not about that shit. Nothing. This is what I, as Solomon Chau, really wanted. Just a tour of what is a red light district in Europe like. In Switzerland, what is the, you know, what does this entail? What do the scenes look like? What are the people over here like no one, yeah, has similar interests. I don't know. My whole family is just like, what the fuck, you know. Well, this is it. This is it. People are driving around in Benzes and Mini Coopers, and this is, you know. Minus the fact that I don't have like a luxury apartment. I mean, this is it. It's not like I need it. And if I did have it, you know, I'd probably complain how expensive it is, this and that. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. There should be, you know, there's more places to explore. I mean, private bank. Everyday life. There's a train. It's just like Canada. People from Canada love coming here. Oh, I don't even think I know where I am anymore. I don't know. I can only see the first layer of reality. I don't know what other shady shit goes on here. But yeah. Don't worry, I'll do a second video about the red lips, you know. That's what the business is called. If I find anything interesting, I'll be sure to film it. Well, that's it. You know, I traveled 5,000 miles away and spent, you know, oceans of time and money to get here, and that was it. That's all I wanted. The feeling, the knowledge, the experience, delayed gratification, you know, the right to choose, you know, being able to live without getting yelled at by your Asian parents. You know, there's a lot growing. You may not see it physically, but inside of me, it's, you know, I'm sprouting, I'm growing. You know, what decisions did I make as an adult? I decided not to go to the whorehouse, and it's important to me that I know that I made this life decision. You know, the devil was presenting itself to me, and I said no. I practiced delayed gratification. You know, and that's my 2 cents. So, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you next one. Peace out.